I recently discovered the richest gold deposit of my prospecting career. Buried away deep in the valleys of one of Tasmania's pristine rivers. But what made this find so unique was the size of the gold, half-ounce chunks of alluvial gold nuggets. It's taken me years to unlock a location like this. But it turns out that I wasn't the first one on the scene. Perhaps maybe in modern times, but after finding old workings in the banks of the river, it became apparent that over 100 years ago, the early miners had set out to seek their own fortune. After discovering an alluvial drift mine on the very same corner that I found all this gold, it got me thinking more seriously about the source of it. One thing I've learnt while prospecting is that large gold doesn't travel far in the river systems, never more than a few hundred metres, and with some of the gold found being more crystalline in nature, it was now time to start exploring the surrounding hills for the source of all this gold. I'll be carrying in an extra 10 to 15 kilograms of tools, including a dolly pot, which will allow me to test some of the ore in the area to see if it has traces of this gold. It's a whole new way of prospecting for me, but I'm excited to see what I can find and what I can learn in the process. Alright, we're out on the ground. I'd love to say I was just starting out, but for the secrecy of this spot, I'm actually a good part of the way in. In fact, I'm about 5 hours in, including the driving. So a big mission. I'm struggling a bit with this extra weight. I'm carrying the dolly pot. It's an extra 10 kilos, so it's quite heavy and quite uncomfortable. I'm really looking forward to doing a little bit of hard rock mining with this dolly pot. We're going to test some more. You guys have been telling me for years I should be following this alluvial gold into the hills and trying to source where it's coming from. So that's what this one's about. Also, if the water's low, I'm going to do a bit of sniping. I've got a few days. I've probably got 3 to 4 days at least. So well equipped, ready to go. All the tools and everything are packed in there, and the safety gear for what I hope is one momentous occasion. This beast back on. It's ridiculous. But once I've got it in there, I can keep it on the site for a few months or a few weeks at least, depending on how we go. I'll be testing it out pretty good. Oh, it's killing me. Must be out of practice. The sunlight. If you're wondering why I'm in shorts and t-shirt, that's because by the time I get in there, I'm going to be wet. I've done the rain jacket thing in the past. I've got it in the pack. But there's no way of staying dry, even with that jacket on. Everything just gets satched. Every time I rely on a branch or a tree to support my weight, all the water just drops. It's all part of being in these rainforests. Covered in leeches by the time I get there. Yeah, this one, it's crazy. Now poisonous by the colour of it. I'm not sure what that is, who knows. This is what I call the spooky forest. There's 2 of these on the way. This is the first. And yeah, you can see what I mean. All the trees, a lot of the trees are dead in here, so you grab some of these little spars and they fall down and hit you in the head. All rotten, you can see them here. All snapped off everywhere. She's a mine zone. Alright, I'm up on top of a ridge here that follows about 300 metres down to the main river, and there's a little creek running down. You might be able to hear it. But yeah, not too far from the river now. Looking forward to dropping this pack. There's the main river. Quite high, a little bit murky by the look of it. Bound to be one. I've got to wade my way up to where I want to be on this river. up to the hot zone where the nuggets are. Righto, I've just come to this point on the river, and this sort of stuff here is a prime example of what I want to run through the dolly pot. Quartz with sulfides and yeah, a whole mix of geology in there. I'm looking forward to testing it out. I've had the gold monster in the past go nuts on stuff like that, and I wasn't able, like it was saying it was gold, but I wasn't able to pull any alluvial gold out of it. So maybe there was something in that bedrock that needs testing out. It's such a beautiful place in here. Yeah, it's stuff like this that I'm interested in. Just that mix, because a lot of the gold that I've found has ironstone in it. But that's just, yeah, super mixed up with good stuff in it. Okay, I've made it to base camp. I can finally down this pack. That was a slog fest. Woo! Let's hope it was worth carrying it in. Okay, so I'm in my wetsuit. Obviously I'm going to be doing some sniping to start off with. I wasn't really expecting the river to be as clear as it is and as low as it is with all the rain that we've had, so it's an opportunity for me to find some more gold sniping. I can sit around camp tonight and crush rock to my heart's delight. I can pick out some of this good ore that's sitting along the riverbed. And tomorrow possibly we'll go looking for some mines around this area where the gold's located. In my experience, heavy gold and large nuggets don't travel far. This location I have, the gold only stretches 100 meters in this one spot, and then you've got to walk several k's before you find another spot. And I believe that the gold could be shedding from the hills surrounding this location.
Surprisingly, the ground that I'd worked when I was last here was still intact, and I continued working where I'd finished up. Sometimes heavy rains will push the gravels back over an area that I want to be working on. It didn't take long to start securing some gold. Once again, a giant quartz stringer had trapped the alluvial gold inside. The more you break up this quartz, the more alluvial gold drops out. Multiple pieces can be found in cavities just like this one. The beauty of this location is that the gold is thick, and I was certainly on my way to find a nugget or two.
Nice little pickup.
I was on the gold, and it was a great start to the trip. I'd worked my way quite deep through the gravels, behind a large slab of bedrock, and down in that clay was a beautiful little picker. Along with multiple other pieces of gold. material behind this ledge was packed in tight, and it took a fair bit of work to get to that bedrock below. But it was all worth it, because in that clay, there was gold, baby. Some of the gold not just on clay, but tucked away in the tiny little cracks of the bedrock. And this piece, certainly not wanting to come out easy. And then things got a little bigger.
There's a big nugget down there. Righto, shrunk a little bit, but still a nice piece. Woo.
And then when I ducked my head back in, there was another.
Nice nugget, yeah. Pretty fresh. Winter's coming. Oh man, there's a whole heap down there. Cluster of little pickers. Well, I worked into the night because I got on the gold late, but we ended up with a pretty good amount, I think. Now I've got to get a fire going and set up the tent. Tomorrow we'll start doing some hard rock mining, start crushing some ore, and we'll see if we can get some gold out of this rock around this area along the river. So hungry, it's been a big day.
Fire's going well tonight. Stoked about that.
So good. It's pretty good going. Interesting to see what that one would clean up like. I'm down at the river. I think the plan for today is I'm going to start out with the dolly pot and the pan right here on the river. Some of the best gold I've found has been found in this section of the river, so it's where I want to focus my time. There's a heap of really nice material along the banks of the river, stuff that I've been wanting to crush up for years. Yeah, every time I walk past it I feel like I should be crushing it up and testing it. Now I know there's a lot more to this than just grabbing a few rocks and crushing them up in this dolly and then panning it out. I know that it can be processed a lot finer. It can be run through a mill and get it really, really fine. For me, it's just about having a bit of a go, testing what I can visually see here along the river. Later today, we're going to head for the hills. We're going to go literally up this hill right here. There's some old mine sites up there. I don't know what to expect from them, whether there'll be much there, but they are marked. I found an old map that shows multiple mines up in the hills around this area, which is a good sign because I've found really good gold here on the river as well. I think my main focus is going to be material like this with a lot of ironstone in it, because the gold itself has the ironstone all connected. And here's one I chose earlier, might be worth a shot, so we'll run that one through to begin with. I don't know if it's going to be too big. Yeah. Too big, so we're going to break this up. I'll probably have to do it in stages. Throw some of the bigger chunks back in, get the dust out. Otherwise it's going to compress really bad within the pot. But yeah, this material looks insane. Got the rock stuck in there. That's never a good thing. Okay, so that's our first effort. Now obviously that could go a lot finer. We'd want it just about like sand, but just in case there's some big chunks in there, we'll give it a run. Just make sure I can't see anything visible hanging out of what I've crushed. It looks like our first crushing hasn't yielded anything. Might try this one here. Hopefully it's not too hard, but a lot of ironstone. That one actually broke up a lot easier than the quartz. Okay, nothing in that one. I guess the other thing I should have done was bring the gold monster and just put the hot rocks through, the ones that have a noise going through them. That might have helped find richer grades of it, I guess. Oh, what is that? What is that? No, it's just mica from the other lot, I think. Nothing in that one. Nothing in that one. So a little bit of background for those that are new to prospecting. The old timers would find the alluvial gold in the rivers, the water-worn gold that had been smoothed off from the action of the water. And what they were looking for when they found that alluvial gold is the source of that gold, so where it was actually coming from. And that often meant working their way up rivers and streams, finding that alluvial gold and looking for the locations where the gold was thickest, and also where the gold might have other ore like ironstone or quartz connected to it and a little bit more coarse in nature. This gold that I've found here is literally some of the best gold that I've found on this river, some of the largest nuggets that I've got to date. And that gold in itself is only within an area of about 100 meters, and it just dries up below. So my theory is that the big gold doesn't travel very far at all, and it's a good indicator that there could be gold coming from the hard rock in the hills around. That gold that you find in the hills surrounding is going to be more crystalline, and it's going to be in its natural form before it hits the watercourse and gets smoothed out by the river rocks and the flow of the water. It is a big part of prospecting, and I've never really touched on it before because I've had such good days in the river itself, but this is something else that I wanted to try my hand at, and who knows what we might find. It's going to be an interesting walk up in these hills to see what history's up there and what we might be able to collect and sample. I think all the good stuff gets caught in the bottom. You got to think it's malleable like lead, so it's all nice powder down there. It's going to be anywhere, it's going to be in this. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. That's how we want it to look. A bit more like sand. Let's try that out. There is something else in there. It looks like it could be osmiridium. There's a silver shale in there. Righto, that's hard work. I'm sweating like crazy. Been going at it for about an hour now, and thinking that it might be time to head for the hills and see what we can find. Go have a look at these mine sites that are up in these hills and hopefully test some more out there. I'm gonna have to jump back in my wetsuit. I'm down to one change of clothes. I just keep these dry as an emergency pair because it can get cold out here. So this will go back in the tent, and yeah, gonna kick through the bush in the old wetty. I'm gonna leave the dolly pot here at camp because it's gonna be way too heavy and there's no water up that way anyway. So I might just take the crusher, the handle, and my crevicing hook because I didn't bring a pickaxe to break any ore. And I'll just bring the samples back in my pack. We can crush them down here at the river. That's if we find anything of interest. We may not even find this mine, but it's worth a shot. Okay. Head for the hills. This is the one I want to reach. I've got it marked on my map. It's about 800 meters from camp, so we're going to run straight up this hill, which I'm hoping is not too steep. The topography looks reasonable on the map. Yeah, that looks okay. It's pretty steep, but it's doable. It's going to be interesting to see what's up there. Alright, she's plateaued out a bit on top. Come from down there. I just noticed this rock wall here. I don't think it's anything, but it's kind of weird because there's a bit of a cleared area down below it, and it runs down the hill. Almost looks like a horse track. Kind of sweeps around down that way. Don't think so though, unless it continues on. Nice open forest at least, makes it easy to get through. Steep country. Okay, I can just see the top up there. And once we get to the top, we've got to continue on another few hundred meters. Whose idea was it to wear a wetsuit? Whew. I'll be looking out for anything that stands out through here. They would have been all over this country. Hard to imagine, it's so remote, but those old guys went everywhere. So glad it's open. Not thick. Makes light work of it. That's crazy. I've got some pink tape all the way out here. Someone's been here since the old timers. That tape is very old, covered in mould. Keep on going, see if we can find it. See another pink tape up there. Hopefully that leads us straight to it. I'm in the zone of where it's supposed to be, and I'm thinking this could be it. There's a whole heap of unlevel ground all heaped up It's all large malacops for about 100 metres. Yeah, it's hard to make out, but there's a series of little trenches and gullies. They've been digging everywhere. Ground up here is probably the most obvious, where I've got my pack sitting. You can see this big mound sitting next to the bag. It continues on for a good 50, 100 metres. There's another mound just there. And another one over the back. Everything I'm standing on's hard rock all through here. There's heaps. There's all under that big log over there. It's been dug. Yeah, there's been a lot of work done here. That's the stuff they've been working, eh? Doesn't look real gold bearing to me, but huge big mound just here, and a series of them all down the back. So what I might do is I'll throw a few little samples from each heap in my bag and carry them back down to the river, which is another K, but I'm going to travel another kilometre north, and there's another mine further up. Bag's going to get heavy very fast. It's going to make a huge mess of my pack. I should have brought a bag to put them in. Still fairly open forest, which is good. I was kind of hoping that last mine site would have been an opening with an adit. A lot of what they did in the old days was just open pits and testing out the rock that was on the surface. Things have gotten a bit thicker on me. Still making ground though. I doubt anyone's been to this since the old timers were here. It's extremely remote. Bit of an opening. Alright, so according to the map, we're not far. We're not far, it's just up here. Should show any minute. Let's hope there's something there. It's been a mission. According to the GPS, we're right on it now. Old Hard Rock 2. Supposed to be on it right now, but I'm not seeing anything obvious. Had a bit of a look about. Just nothing here. Certainly no adit. And I've had a good look about, but I can't seem to locate this one. Maybe it wasn't much at all. So I think I'm going to head back to the river now, jump in the drink, cool down and do a bit of sniping, and later on around camp I'll crush up that rock that we did get. I don't have high hopes for it, but you never know. Might show a few little specks in there for something to come back to. And after all, this is only 2 little mines out of thousands around the hills of Tasmania. So looking forward to doing a bit more of this sort of exploration. I am out of water now, so I'm going to be one toasty boy by the time I get back to that river. Grossly underestimated how hot I'd get in this wetsuit. Only part way back too. Gonna be so good to get in that water. Well, the sniping's been a bit slow this afternoon and that water's freezing. My legs keep cramping up from the hike this morning up that hill. So I'm going to rest it up for the day. I'm going to go and crush that ore from the first mine site and see if we've got anything in there. This stuff here I'm going to run. I've just had to break it open. Look at that for a nice mix. Might be a little micro speck. Might be a little micro speck in that one. Righto, back at home. I ended up coming back pretty much the next morning on that trip. It's a while ago now. You can see my hair's a little bit longer and whatnot. Yeah, I think I kind of did what I set out to do. I didn't find the gold obviously in the ore, but I definitely gave it a pretty good shot and tested out that mine site. It was good that we were able to find that one. Now I did test a few more pieces of that ore from that site and didn't really have any luck. There might have been a few little micro specks in there, but nothing noteworthy, and definitely not the gold that we're finding in the river where I've set up camp. So definitely keen to go back in when the weather's good. I'll head back in there and we'll try again. I'll get back in there when things are warmer and we'll give it another shot. And yeah, looking forward to doing a little bit more of that sort of exploration. Now to finish off, we will look at the gold that I managed to snipe. I was on the gold pretty heavily the first day. On the second day, after getting back from that mine site and hiking around in the wetsuit, once I got back in the cold water, my legs just decided they'd had enough. They were just cramping up real bad. So I wasn't able to spend much time. I got a little bit more gold, maybe a gram or two, but nothing noteworthy.
Okay, once again it's that ironstone coated gold. I did manage to get a little bit of shinier stuff in a pool upstream, which doesn't quite have as much of the ironstone connected to it. I love seeing up close how the ironstone wraps its way around the gold. These are the larger bits. I wouldn't say they're nuggets, but they're nice little pickers. First piece, 0.35. Our second piece, 0.33. We've got a 0.64. And the biggest piece comes in at 1.1. And for our grand total, for a few hours in a freezing cold river, we've got 9.44 grams of gold.